Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime talk with Niall Boylan.
Ireland's classic hits radio.
All right, welcome back. By the way, so he says, Niall, what was the date again for the general election? Well, here, we don't know for sure, right? But 99.9% it's the 29th of November. 29th of November. They will most likely announce it probably at the start of the middle of next week. That will be the latest they can announce it if they want it to be in the 29th of November. I don't think they'll want to push it till the 6th of December because that's not going to be good for the electorate apart from anything else. It'll piss people off. They're getting ready for Christmas, all that kind of stuff. So they won't want to do that. So the 29th of November looks like the date it's going to be, so you can make your decisions now. I think it's a very short notice. I think they're treating the electorate with disrespect, but that's just what I feel. By the way, just on another note as well, just to let you know, I'll be taking a little bit of time off. I'll be off for the next couple of weeks. So just letting you know that Gary will be here taking over for me. We all need a bit of a break, just to see with a personal matter, but we all need a bit of a break every now and again, don't we? Anyway, I want to talk about something completely different. All right? Yep, it is that time of the year. We're going to switch into full Halloween mode. Now, good evening, brave souls, and welcome to our special Halloween night edition of Nighttime Talk, Tales from the Dark. I'm your host, Niall Boylan. Where did she get this from? Guiding you through the shadows and whispers of the night. As the veil between worlds grow thin, we invite you to share your own spine-tingling stories. Have you encountered something unexplainable? A chilling apparition or a mysterious sound that sends shivers down your spine? We want to hear it. You can text us at 087 188 0008 to share your eerie experiences. And you might just find yourself on the air, reliving those haunted moments. So dim the lights, settle in, and let's just dive into the unknown. So basically, do you believe in the afterlife? Do you believe in spirits, ghosts? Do you think people come back? Tonight is the night, isn't it? Halloween is the night of all souls. It's the day of the year when all the souls are supposed to rise from the ground. That's why you always see that kind of thing with a hand coming out of a grave. But maybe you're sitting at home on your own and you're in a house that maybe somebody passed away in a long, long time ago. Do you ever hear them walking up the stairs when you're lying in bed at night on your own? You hear a noise and you say, I wonder what that was. Oh, it must be just the dog. But it's not, because the dog is sitting beside you. You just hear these noises. Have you ever seen anything unusual? Let us know. We want to hear your stories. You can WhatsApp or text us at 087 188 0008. And I might give one of Molly's hampers to the best WhatsApp or text or story. All right? Over the next 45 minutes or so. So let us know. Ooh. I'm doing my best to be scary here, Molly. Let me go to Niamh. Niamh, hi, how are you?
Hiya, Vile. I've waited years to say that. Years.
Vile Boylan.
I've waited years to say that. How do you know your nickname, anyway?
I'm sure people have said it in the past for different reasons.
I'm sure they have. Yeah. Sure they have.
Yeah. Niamh, do you believe in ghosts and things that go bump in the night?
I don't know. I think it'd be a bit egotistical to say they don't exist. It's a bit like saying aliens don't exist, that we're the only people. That's a bit egotistical.
Well, that's a bit more believable, isn't it, than somebody dying and coming back to life and going, ooh.
Yeah, I know, but you see, we don't know what goes on after we die, so we don't really know. And I think that's why people are unsure, because we haven't a clue.
But do you ever feel that you're in the presence of somebody else? Like you know there's no one else in the room, and you know when you kind of sense somebody behind you?
No, that's one thing that's never happened, thank God, because I wouldn't be great at stuff like that now.
Oh, okay.
So no, I've never experienced that, but there's been a few little things that have made me sort of think.
Like what?
But the major one was about 20 years, no, it's more than 20 years ago. I'm in denial. It's more than 20 years ago. And
you are in denial.
I'm in complete denial. And we were watching, I was in my best friend's house, right? And she was about 20 minutes walk away from me, and we're watching The Exorcist. Now, okay with horrors, but don't bring the devil into it. I just don't like that, because that freaks me out a little bit. So that I was freaked out anyway. And her brother said, look, I'll walk you home, right? And I said, great, thanks. So we were going home, and you know those old style steel bins that we used to put out?
Yeah.
Now, to show how much in denial I am.
Yeah, the two handles on the side of them. And
yeah, real heavy bins.
Yeah.
So one of them rolled. Now, that's nothing wrong with that, except there was no wind and it rolled uphill.
Oh.
Now, only I had a witness who would have thought I was losing my mind.
Well, now, here's the thing. Things can roll uphill.
Yeah, but not when they're full.
They can. And I'll
But
tell
it
you...
was full, like it was really heavy.
Okay, I hate to be the black and white person here and doing the logical explanation for everything, right? But there are 5 places in Ireland, I think. Now, there's probably lots more, right? But 5 well-known places. One is called Electric Hill, and I think it's up near Newry somewhere. And there's a few other ones around that where there's a hill on a hill, and it's an optical illusion because it could be a very large hill. Like housing estates are built on hills and mountains and everything else. We just don't realise that because we just see them as housing estates. But if you're on a downward hill, but it's actually built on an upward hill, it can still be elevated slightly. Although it looks like you're going down, you're actually going up. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
They call them electric hills. You should Google it. It's really interesting.
Yeah, but like,
There's one in Newry,
normal,
and people do. It's a tourist attraction. People go and they park their car at the bottom of the hill. They take the handbrake off, and the car rolls up the hill.
But it was just like a normal housing estate in Dundrum. Like, it's not like it's there. But I'm not being smart, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not a tourist attraction.
I know.
It's just like,
sounds scary enough. I'd be shitting
estate.
myself if I saw that.
I was. And the only other one I had was, again, I was young, because I was still living at home. And I went downstairs. My great uncle had died the week previous, and we were very close. He's like a granddad to me, because my granddad died when I was very, very young. So he'd passed away. Went downstairs to my mother and I said, what is it? What did you want? And she kind of looked and she goes, what? And I said, what did you want? You shook me awake. What did you want? And she said, I haven't been near you. No one's been near you. Ooh. But I literally felt the hands shaking me awake. But the weird thing was, I didn't feel afraid. I just felt like, oh, okay, it's time to get up now.
Oh, God.
But I physically felt it. Now, go on, logic.
No, I'm not going to give logic for everything. I want just with the hills. I thought that was interesting. You know what I mean? But here's the thing.
So
are you on your own tonight?
No, I'm not. I would never be on my own Halloween. I'm a coward. I'm terrible. When I was a kid, I used to stay awake until midnight so that Halloween was done.
Right, okay. And once it's past midnight, everything is fine again. It's like a reset.
I just well, God's in charge now. I'm okay.
Well, hang on. Stay there. Let me go to Jerry Ann as well. Jerry Ann, hi. How are you?
Yeah, good, Niall. Sorry, but glad to hear you're taking time off.
Yeah. No, I'm just a couple of weeks, just for personal issues. So,
are you doing your podcast?
No, I won't be for a couple of weeks. No.
Okay. No, that's good. That's good. I don't mean that's good. Of course, we're going to miss you, but I'm glad you're doing that. Okay.
Yeah. We all need a bit of time out, don't we?
Yeah, we sure do. I know exactly what you're talking about that electric hill, and I think the one that you were referring to, that's the one that I actually witnessed a few years ago. But I went house and pet sitting a few years ago, and it's just something I wanted to do. I did it across the world. I did it in different countries. But I also did it in Ireland. And one of the ones I did was down in outside Kilkenny town. And it was this big old house, half a castle, probably 17th century, whatever you call, I don't know. I'm not good at that century thing. And so I was minding 2 Rottweilers that were like pussycats. I was minding geese. I was minding hens. I was minding you name it. I was measuring the rainfall for Beth Aaron. But one night I was up in bed, and I was on my own, and I was up in bed, and this knocking darted on the
I
wall.
like
behind.
I like the sound effects you did there, Jerry. Jerry Ann's a great storyteller. This knocking. Go on.
I swear to God,
Go on,
it
Jerry Ann.
started behind my bed, Niall, right? And I remember going, oh, for goodness sake, will you leave me alone and let me go to sleep? I'm tired. I need to get up early to let the 2 dogs out. And that was fine. So it did continue for a while. I'm not joking you. But then I got... Who's doing that?
Me. Go on.
Brilliant. But the next day I got up and I decided I'd go and did my duties, and then I said I'd go and I'd look into this room where this knocking was coming from. When I walked into the room, there was a big double bed in it, or a double bed. And when I tell you I froze, I absolutely froze. The hairs stood up in my body, the ones I have because of alopecia. And they stood up, right? And
I see. I'm allowed to laugh at that because I have alopecia too. So go on.
I know. I knew you'd enjoy that. Well, I won't go there. But anyway, I knew you'd love that line. Anyway, I froze, but I got this thing, and I said, right, I know who you are. That was fine. Continued doing my work. The people came home that owned the place 2 weeks later, and when they got back, I was still there, obviously, made them a meal or something, and I said, I know who he is. And the both of them looked at me and said, what? And I said, yeah, I know who he is. And they said, did you not read the article we left for you? And I said, no. They had left a paper cutting for me. And the paper cutting was about way back when the house was owned by this couple. And they had a tutor from Kerry who came from Kerry to tutor their son or whatever sibling they had. And anyway, the story is the wife poisoned the husband because she allegedly was having now this is documented, I might add, an affair with the young lad from Kerry. So she went off and bought her rat poison, and the bedroom that I went into was where her husband had died. But what happened was...
Niamh has shit herself now.
Yes, what likely?
She disappeared off the face of the earth and let the Kerry guy take the whole brunt for the murder of the husband. He was brought and he was accused of murdering the husband. He was brought into, I think it was the centre of Kilkenny, and he was hung. However, the parish priest came and took him down, but discovered he was still alive. And the priest took him home.
This is like a Hammer House horror. Go on. Sorry, go on.
No, I'm telling you, hid him in his house. And now, allegedly, he got him back and he ended up going to America. But I'm not joking you. That is an absolute...
So it's the husband is banging on the wall.
Yeah. No, the banging on the wall...
Is the dead husband?
Yeah, the dead husband. But to be honest with you, Niall, I remember going to bed one night and he was at it again. And I said, will you just leave me alone? Because I'd be more afraid of people than I would be of dead people. And I do believe, by the way, very firmly in an afterlife. Okay.
This is good. We're doing well here. Actually, The purpose of tonight's show is to scare Niamh. All right?
Did I scare her?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah. She's wondering now about this guy who's poisoned.
Well, Niamh, look that up.
By the way, if you're at home alone at the moment and you're in bed or you're on your own, because a lot of people go to bed with me, and you're on your own, okay, and you hear a noise downstairs, it's probably the poisoned husband. That's probably who he's wandering around the halls of your home. Let me go to Anthony. Stay there, please. Anthony, thank you, Jerry Ann. Anthony, stay there, Niamh.
Hi.
Hi, Anthony. Yeah.
I'm not too bad. I have a good story.
Have you a good story, Anthony? Connie, I'll be with you in a second because Connie has a direct line to the other side. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Anthony.
Oh, Jesus. So, What happened was, Niall, I went to a psychic in Galway, and
Right.
she said, Anthony, she said, you're going to move to a town in West Cork where there's both. She said, they're going to be mad about you, she said. And they were, and she said, Bantry. So I said, that should go away, I said. But it was only when I went for an interview in Skull for a job, I got it. And I was going down the street one day, and I said, seen a sign, Bantry, 12 kilometres. I said, Jesus, she was right. I said, about the boats. I looked around Skull. I said, she was on the ball. So I moved into an apartment in Skull in 2012, and there was a sailor that used to stay there, like, but he had passed on home to God. So I was in the apartment one evening, and I could hear knocks at the door and everything and see shadows. And I said, no, it's probably just someone outside. Now,
Yeah. Oh, you heard knocks at the door. Sorry, hang on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I need to do the sound effect. Neve, you're not on the ball here. You should be doing the sound effects.
Anyway.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to it, Anthony.
Go ahead.
I thought not of it. So I put off the lights anyway, whatever, in the apartment, and I said to myself, that's fine. So, like, and just because I had to get up the next morning for work. But in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock, I don't know what it was. I just felt someone hit me, and all the lights was off. It's like someone rubbed my shoulder, and I just jumped up. I said, oh my, someone's after breaking into the apartment. And then there was no one there.
There was no one there at all. Even the knocks at the door. It was probably the television license inspector. There was
No, but it could have been because it was the bed, like, that I was staying in. The, you know, I'm just wondering what has been the sailor's bed.
So what, he was trying to get into the bed with you, Anthony? Jesus.
But another thing then, before I go, I was in the room there 2 weeks ago the other night, and 103.7, I had the frequency on the radio, going through the radio, so I lifted on that, and I woke up at 2 in the morning, and no word of a lie, looked across at the radio, number 8 kept going up and down the radio dial for a minute, and my cousin died the 8th of June, and he died in house number 8. So I was superstitious with that.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people are superstitious about numbers. Neve, have you got a superstitious number? Have you got a favourite number? Mine is 23. I don't know why.
11.
11.
It's just always been lucky for some reason.
Anthony's is clearly 8, obviously now. So people are all going to do the lottery this weekend with 8s and 23s and 11s in it. Yeah, 23 is mine. Now, Neve, have you ever wanted to speak to somebody who has a direct line to the other side?
Yes, always.
Connie has a direct line. Connie, hi, how are you?
No, I'm not sure about that, but anyway, I know.
Connie, what do you mean you have a direct line?
Numerous encounters now, numerous encounters.
Yeah, it says here on my screen, Connie has a direct line to the other side. Like, do you ring up and go, hi, how are you doing?
I'm not bringing anyone in now. I don't think so.
Okay. So what happened to you, Connie?
20. I'm not afraid of them anymore. When I was younger, the funny thing that came into my head there about Halloween, I wouldn't be afraid. One time when somebody had died suddenly in our family, I was getting up ready to go up the stairs, and I heard it was like a banshee. I nearly got a heart attack.
You heard like the howling of a banshee.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously. It's a long time ago, about 20
That's
years
my sound
ago.
effects. Sorry, that's the sound effects department here in
swear to
Ireland's
God,
Classic Hits Radio.
I nearly went over myself with the fright. I said, I don't know, there's no thing. No, so stick at the banshee.
Yeah, Neve, you're in charge of sound effects. What's going on here? Why am I being left to do it? Will you do the banshee there, Neve?
No, I don't have to. What's the banshee sound like? Just a screaming? No, I'm not screaming on the radio, no, Jesus.
Well, they say the banshee,
They're
Connie.
afraid, like.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be afraid now.
Yeah, but
Don't be afraid of them.
But they say the sound of the banshee, what the people hear, is actually foxes. Because foxes make this really weird sound, like a baby crying.
Afterwards.
Huh?
That's what I said. It's only a cat or something.
A fox, probably.
Probably a fox. It doesn't sound like a cat.
Foxes have an awful screech.
That's right, yeah.
It does sound like a scream. Yeah. Crow.
Something like that, isn't it? Yeah.
So I've never been afraid of anyone like that because
Yeah. Have you ever seen a spirit,
I
Connie?
often get messages.
Well, you get messages.
My dad has gone to heaven. It was like, I believe in heaven because I know I talk to them. Like I do get messages.
Yeah, that's nice. That's
And
comforting.
many people think, I think you're crazy, like, but I do hear.
No, I don't think you're crazy.
No, but like I live. Well, I don't live on my own because I have 2 dogs and 2 cats. So you're never on your own. Never on your own. But I wouldn't be afraid. I never. And I live next to a standing stone, which is very old, which is very ancient. So it's very lovely energy here.
And you wouldn't be
Lovely
sitting there at
energy.
night
So
in
I
bed.
always think-
But Connie, would you be sitting there in bed some night and you hear downstairs or something?
I just say, who's that? What do you want? No, the most famous person I've ever had come, like, that I've had contact from, 3 occasions now, not just once.
Who?
I think the first time was in 2020. I can't remember. Michael Collins, anyway.
Oh, Michael Collins.
The big fella.
The famous,
Yeah.
not the TD that's still alive,
Yeah.
obviously. Yeah, the famous Michael Collins, yeah.
Yes, the one that's there. From
Obviously.
Cork, like, why? I don't know why he chose me, but I have a connection with him. I don't know why. I remember when the film came out, I remember the book. I read all the book. I was really obsessed with him.
And what,
So I don't know
and
why.
what did he say to you?
One time I was actually going out. I was taking my friend's house and I was going out to around lockdown, I'm sure. Day one, maybe. I went out to the garden. I was just standing there. And next thing, the whole scene changed. I started calling marching. I said, oh, Jesus, your man. I said, I always say, how can I help you? Like, and he said, they tell me what to do, but did I do it? No. I had to go down to Sam's Cross and do whatever. And I was there, okay, yeah, no problem. Never once did I do. But yeah.
No.
And then another time I was, first time I can't remember what he said. Second time, was about another year later, 2 years maybe, not that long ago. I was at a friend's house and she did a healing on me. And then I was waiting, I had to get acupuncture. And I was coming around, I was just taking a rest. And the next thing, the whole room changed and he was there again and I said, all right. I always say like...
Michael Collins, you couldn't get a more famous person in Ireland to be actually meeting or having contact with. Connie, that's wonderful. Listen, thank you very much indeed, Connie. Appreciate you coming on, Niamh. What do you think? I'm liking Connie's stories. I'm liking Derry Ann's as well. Oh, and Anthony, and somebody's trying to get into his bed in the middle of the night, knocking on his door.
That was the sailor.
It was television and licence inspector, probably. I know Anthony wanted to get onto Gogglebox years ago, so maybe that's what it was. The television licence inspector. Have I got time for one? I'll go to Darren as well. Now, Niamh, please, play your role here, okay? If you want to be in media,
okay.
you got to do the sound effects, all right? Can't be just leaving to me. I'm the presenter, all right?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try. I'll do my best.
Darren, hi, how are you?
Well, no.
Good. Darren, you have a bit of a story for us, have you?
Oh, jeez, I have.
Okay.
Now, I'd be a very big skeptic on all things like mediums, psychics, ghosts, all that crack, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, I live just not too far from where I went to school, primary school. There's a church and a graveyard right opposite the school, right?
Yeah.
And I was just coming back. It wasn't out Halloween night around. It was just late summer, about 7-8 years ago. I was coming back from ex-girlfriend's house. And I remember looking at the clock right before coming to the school and the church are opposite sides of the road. And there's a street light. And I remember seeing this man in a really old Victorian suit. And it was lashing rain, and he was wearing like a really old hat, like the really old big hat that you wear.
Yeah, Federa, yeah.
And I stopped the car, the shivers went down my spine, looked in the mirror, and he turned around, he looked at me in the mirror and did the old gesture of taking his hat off and bowing.
Oh, yeah, tipping his hat to you, yeah.
And the shivers ran down my spine, and something said to me, go back, but the main thing said to me, no, drive on. And I remember just driving on, but the weird thing was as well that he was dry as a bone. There wasn't like a bit of wetness on him.
Even though it was pissing rain out.
Even though it was pissing rain out. And I know everyone that lives around that area. And it wasn't any of the neighbours. Anyway, the next day, I said it to an old man, a local man in the village that I know for years. He used to work in the yard where I work as a cleaner. And he sent me I said to him, and a few weeks later, he gave me this newspaper clipping from a local paper. Now, I knew it's called the Battle of Dungan's Hill, that happened right on that hill where the church is. And Cromwell's men, when they invaded, he showed me this clipping of the newspaper, and there was one of Cromwell's men in the really old, same colour Victorian suit, same hat, that I seen that man wear at the top of that hill.
Now Niamh is worried. Now she's really worried.
And that absolutely floored me.
Yeah, that sounds very legit now, Niamh, doesn't it?
Where does this happen, just so I know not to go there?
And I mean, I'd be a massive skeptic. And
So what hill? What hill is this? Where is this again, Darren? What hill is this on?
It's called the Battle of Dungan's Hill. It's just out in Meath.
Okay.
Oh, that's a grand
And
story.
it's just so. It was just so. I'm convinced it was one of Cromwell's men that I seen. Because there wasn't any of the neighbours. There wasn't and even if it was, why would he bow to me? No one does that anymore.
No, and nobody dresses like that. Well, unless it was Halloween fancy dress, but that doesn't sound like that if he was an elderly man or an older
And it
man.
was 12 o'clock on the button. Because I remember looking at the clock right before coming to the church, and it was 00:00.
Oh, did it scare the shite out of you?
It absolutely, even now talking about it, it's kind of giving me goosebumps and shivers.
You have to send us the picture. We have to see it.
I must get. He gave me the clipping of the newspaper, but sure, God knows where I put it now.
This is true. But I'd be dying
But
to
it's
see
in.
it.
It was in the Liffey Champion. It was in the Meath Chronicle.
Oh, they ran the story.
And if you Google Battle of Dungan's Hill, Summerhill, Meath, it will come up.
Right. Okay. I'll have a look at that later.
And thousands of Irish soldiers died at the bottom of that hill.
And he tipped his hat to you. That sounds very kind of believable in the way that you would imagine. I can almost visualise that, Niamh. Them, bending down.
Well, I have
tipping his hat.
I have a photographic memory, and I will never ever forget the image I remember seeing in the mirror, my rear view mirror of the car, and just seeing this man bowing in the pissings of rain.
You know what? It's an awful shame it hadn't happened more recently. Then you would have had a rear dash cam.
Yeah, but he mightn't show up.
Yeah. Sorry.
Spirits they don't show up often on camera. That's why these people who go on these investigations can't show you pictures, because they're spirits. They're not physical. They can't show up on a camera.
Yeah, okay.
I refused to believe it was that and for what it was until I seen the newspaper clipping that he gave me.
Right, okay.
I've seen that the Cromwell's men was wearing the same suits.
Very interesting, Darren. A lot of people very worried at home now at the moment on Halloween night, sitting on their own in their houses, listening to that story. And maybe if you have a look out your window, he might be across the road from your house right now. Particularly if you live in Meath.
I walk past it nearly every day, walking the dogs nearly every evening, and I walk through it at night time as well, most nights, right where it was.
Why don't you set up something like a camera, hidden camera? I know Niamh said they don't come up on camera, but maybe set up a hidden camera for
a
time
wildlife,
lapse.
the one of those wildlife cameras.
Yeah, the kind of night vision ones.
Get on to one of the paranormal investigation teams on Facebook, and they do an investigation on it, and they have all the gear.
Oh, I don't want to, because then I'll never be able to walk there again.
Yeah, true. They might find something.
Yeah.
I had the headphones on walking through the graveyard, and there's no way I walk through it in silence.
See me, I'm a complete skeptic like you. I don't believe in any of this, right? But I still wouldn't walk through a graveyard. I'd be shitting myself.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Not at night.
No, not at night.
Every night nearly.
You walk through a graveyard every night.
Yeah, because it leads into a woods. It's just up the road from me, like basically 2 minutes drive. And then
Yeah, would you not take the long way? You know what I mean? Rather than
via Dublin.
No.
There's no way, Darren, I'd walk through a graveyard at night.
And then into woods.
And then into the woods. Yeah, into the woods.
That's the start of every horror film you've ever seen.
That's just coming from people from the city. This is normal to us country boys.
It doesn't matter. As Niamh rightly said, it's the start of every horror movie, isn't it? Somebody walking through a graveyard into the woods. You know what I mean?
So I don't have your podcast in my ears, so I don't even think about that, let's be honest.
Oh, that's good. Well, that's a good thing that you have my podcast in your ears, by the way, can I point out?
That's scary enough.
Yeah, listening to me talking shite every day. Listen, Darren, thank you very much indeed. Appreciate you coming on talking to us.
No bother. Cheers.
Niamh, listen, thanks very much indeed, Niamh. So far, I think Darren's story is topping the...
That is very good. Yeah, you can't argue with that.
No, you can't. No, but I noticed you didn't do any sound effects. I was doing a couple of sound effects in between, like the clock. Tick, tick,
what did you think of it? Oh, the clock.
Yeah, but see,
I was trying to think because you put me on the spot. And
I did a bit of rain. I did a bit of the rain.
I didn't even think of that.
Thanks, Niamh. Thank you. Enjoy your Halloween night, by the way. Sleep tight.
You too.
Sleep tight.
I will.
Thank you, Darren. Bear, I'll be with you straight after the break. I have to take a quick short break, okay? The number is 087 188 0008. Do you believe in spirits and ghosts and things that go bump in the night? Maybe you have a story. Let us know by WhatsApping 087 188 0008. Yeah, Martin says, by the way, the scariest thing I've ever heard listening to the show is tonight. is that we might end up with the same soulless, evil, blood-sucking zombies in government that we've had for the past 10 years. That is truly a terrifying thought. He said, by the way, about Darren's story, he saw a picture depicting one of Cromwell's men dressed in Victorian garb. That makes absolutely no sense. In fairness, Martin, I don't think he knew exactly what Victorian garb was. Old garb, I suppose. We would just use the word Victorian. People would say that, meaning older, kind of traditional type clothing, I suppose. I don't think he necessarily meant exactly that. Let me go to Bear, if I can. Bear, hi, how are you?
I'm grand, how are you?
I'm good, Bear. Now, Bear, do you believe in spirits and things that go bump in the night and ghosts and all that kind of stuff?
Not really.
No.
Not really.
No.
But I do think that my dog does.
Your dog does?
My dog.
Okay, because they tend to have a better sense, don't they?
I think they do have a different sense anyways. I'll tell you something. My husband passed away about 4 years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. And it was in the house here. And I got my dog like 6 months after.
Yeah.
My kind of kids kind of pressurized me into getting a dog so I wouldn't be alone.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, and I got her and no problem. But now and again, she's kind of looking out in the corridor and she starts kind of, not really barking, but, making little sounds. What is this about? Yeah. And I don't know. There's nothing to see, nothing to hear.
So you think the dog is sensing there's somebody there?
Something.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know what, but it could be. I don't know. I don't really believe in it myself. But then again, I think there's something between heaven and earth, but...
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, well, I think maybe sometimes people believe that people who pass away are always there, if you know what I mean. Keeping an eye on things, I suppose. Maybe that's what they believe, isn't it?
Uh-huh.
Are you a spiritual person yourself, or religious or spiritual in any way yourself?
Not really.
No,
not
okay.
really.
Yeah, I wouldn't be either now. But I know people believe that, and it gives them comfort too to know that sometimes, And they say that dogs and cats have a very special sense because they're using dogs now to detect cancer in people. And they believe that dogs can detect cancer better than a blood test in some cases. They can actually smell the cancer cells. So they're training dogs. That's crazy. I swear to God, it's mad.
Sounds unbelievable.
So if your dog, it's like children, for example, as well. Children have a much higher sense. That's why they talk about children having imaginary friends and who can see things that, we can't see, and because they have a different sense,
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, and by the way, how did your husband pass away? Was it sudden or was it an illness he had?
No, that was very sudden. He had a heart attack.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Bear. That must have been devastating for you.
It was tough. But I'm getting on.
Yeah. Okay, that's
getting
good.
on, but you have to,
Well, listen, thank you very much indeed for sharing the story. And I'm sure many people out there would agree that dogs tend to sense things quicker than other people, or that people normally do. Listen, Bear, thank you. Have a lovely evening on Halloween, all right? Thank you.
Thanks. You too. Bye.
Now, when we go, who had to go to now? Oh, yeah. Sandra is next. Sandra, hi, Sandra.
Hi, Niall.
How are you? Jeez, you're very lively, aren't you, Sandra? What's going on there?
Okay, I don't know about that now. I was only talking to you second last week about the fight outside Jets.
Oh, but that's right. Oh, you were the one who was saying that your husband ended up injured outside Jets after he intervened in a fight. I remember that, yeah.
That's right, yeah. I'm actually in work now at the minute. I have my own key so I can come and go as I like. But I've often been in that church now at midnight or whatever, and to be coffins in there doesn't bother me.
Does it not?
Nope.
I'd be terrified.
No. Just to be afraid of it. More afraid of the living than you are of the dead.
Yeah, this is true.
But I've often, I could be in there and one of the priests would come in. If I'm chatting away, I'd say, "What do you want?" And he'd say, "Oh, I'm just looking for something." I say, "I'm having a staff meeting here. Will you go away?" So just take off.
A staff meeting.
Having a staff meeting, yeah. So then I'd scooch on over then to the parish hall, and it's in a very old graveyard right beside us.
And would you walk through it at night?
Doesn't bother me.
Jeez, you're a brave woman, Sandra.
Jesus. I live in Swords.
Right.
And Cullen-Kills graveyard is straight across the road from the house.
Yeah.
So if I want to go on a short walk, I'll bring the dog and I will just walk through the graveyard.
Oh, gosh. Well, I know Swords. I do. I know Swords well. Of course, I lived there most of my life. So
doesn't bother me in the least.
I remember years ago when I was a kid, There was a graveyard down in Raheny. I used to live in Edenmore, and there was a graveyard in Raheny. I don't know if you know Raheny. When you come down the hill, there's a graveyard straight in front of you, a big tall wall, 6 foot wall. The graveyard, the soil is really high up. It's an old church. It's in the middle of the road. And we used to dare each other to climb up the wall and get into the graveyard. We were about 12 years of age. We'd be terrified.
Jason, I was never good at climbing walls, trees now yet, no bother. But, that was fucking like many moons ago. But, yeah, like it doesn't bother me. Only one time I think I got freaked out when there was, it was really windy. And you could hear, because the doors, the big gaps underneath the doors, and they rattle, even though like they're really heavy.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing like that freaked me out. But other than that, that's all. I mean, I'm working here now, 10 years?
Yeah.
So it doesn't bother me. Like, I've seen it all.
I don't think I could deal with a job like that, or even worse, working in a mortuary or something like that. I don't think I could do that either.
That wouldn't bother me. Wouldn't bother me in the least.
Somebody has to do it, I suppose. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. As I said, I'm not a religious person around, but I have to say now, I love my job. There's no one there to annoy me. Yeah. And I can just come and go and say, please.
All right, well, listen.
So whoever's in tow can just stay there and just listen to me giving out about everybody and anybody.
Yeah, they know all. The dead know all your secrets, Sandra. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, they would. Yeah, and I hope to God you don't be looking at me half the time now. I have to say.
Sandra, lovely talking to you again. Thanks very much indeed. Appreciate you coming on. Let me go to Paul. Paul, hi. How are you? Paul, are you there? Hello.
Yeah.
I'm Paul.
Talk as well.
Yeah, are you there, Paul?
How are you, Niall?
Yeah, Paul, turn off the radio in the background because you're listening in delay, so there's a slight problem.
I will, yeah. I did turn it down.
Okay, that's great. So, Paul, have you got a story for us?
Sorry, what?
Yeah,
what?
You're listening in delay, Paul. You're listening 10 seconds ago, so that's why you're only answering the questions that I'm asking you 10 seconds later.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so just listen to the phone. So, have you got a story?
I've got a story, yeah.
Okay, tell us your story.
My wife's mother, about, how long was it before, Julie, weeks before she passed? 2 weeks. A couple of weeks before she passed, she came down to us and stayed the night with us.
Yeah.
And we built up a bed for her and she stayed the night. And sadly, she passed about 2 weeks after that.
Oh, God, I'm sorry to hear that.
This was 2018, I think it was, yeah.
Yeah.
But we had a little dog, Gizmo. We used to, when we go to work, we drop him down to her, and they seem to get on very well, like together, like, you know.
Yeah.
So sadly, one night we were there one night in bed, and next minute Gizmo started barking, and he heard a creak on the stairs. We had one step on the stairs that creaked.
Yeah.
And it creaked, and he leapt out of the bed, and he started barking. So Judy got up, my wife. She went down with him, down the stairs. And she said, no, there's no one here. So at that, he turned on his heel, went back up the stairs, and went straight into the room. Judy went back up the stairs after him, and he went straight into the room where Becky used to sleep the night she was with us.
Yeah.
And he was laying on the floor, and the tail going mad, looking up at the bed. So
you think he saw something?
He definitely saw something, yeah.
Yeah, because as I said earlier on to Bear, dogs do have a better sense, or they seem to have a sixth sense.
They do, yeah. They say it's the sense the dogs and babies have a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always one stair with a creak on it, isn't there, for some reason? I don't know what that's about.
If you're coming back late at night, and there's always one that lets you down.
I remember when I was a teenager, there was at home, my mother and father would be in bed if you were coming home late, and I could never remember which one it was. I think there was 13 steps, and there was number 7, I think, was the one with the creak, and you'd try and skip it by stepping over it.
But when you're a few on you'll forget.
Yeah. Listen, Paul, thank you very much indeed, and condolences, by the way, the loss of your mother-in-law. All right, thanks very much indeed.
Okay.
Appreciate you coming on. Let me just go to Sarah. Sarah, hi, how are you?
How's it going, Niall? How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Are you scared?
No, come here and I tell you, my dog is like that.
Who? Boomer?
Right?
Boomer?
That's all right.
Bouncer, sorry. I always
Yeah,
call him
he-
Boomer. Bouncer.
He keeps looking at the ceiling, right? And he bends his head all the time. And then he'll keep looking around. And then he'll start growling.
Right.
Anyway, right? Come here and I tell you, right? Do you know, like, on Halloween night, right?
Yeah.
The banshees out. All the 80s.
The banshees, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all
Can you
people
do the
that
sound of the
don't believe
banshee?
in-
Can you do the sound of the banshee?
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like,
Really, like...
yeah, no, it's like, it's like, it's kind of like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
like totally possessed,
do it again.
right?
You do it better than me. Do it again.
I don't know what
It's
sound
like,
it
it's like, it's like a crying baby, isn't it?
Anyway, however, right? Seriously, right?
Yeah.
What they do is, no, seriously, right? This is God's honest truth, right? And like where I'm living, I can actually see the graveyard. And now at the moment, they're cutting down half of the forest, and like this graveyard is even bigger. Like it's big.
Yeah.
But
big.
it gets bigger because they're cutting down all the trees, right?
Right. How far is the
However,
graveyard? How far is it from your house?
I'd say in a drive, like it's 10 minutes.
But you can see
Say
it
a
from your
walk
house.
around.
But you can see it from your house.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you could easily walk to it. Like
Yeah.
another speaker spoke there.
Yeah.
You know, she brings the dog, but it's a sightseeing area as well.
Yeah.
But the banshee is right. I swear to God, right? This is not. I'm not telling you one word of a lie because you are. Like you don't believe in either way. But I am a very spiritual person. I can actually feel the energy and all of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
But because we have All Saints Day coming up
Yeah.
and All Souls Day coming up, right?
Yeah.
The people that don't believe in all of this, like yourself, right?
Yeah.
They sit in the back seat of your car
Who do,
when you're going home at night.
do they?
Yeah. Right, so you just need to be that extra little bit vigilant.
Right.
When you're driving tonight.
Right. So if you're driving and you look in your rearview mirror, those people are sitting.
No,
they're
it's
sitting in the
not
back.
that.
They're sitting in the back of the car.
No, you feel as if someone's blown by your ear. You get like, sort of like, right? And not only that as well, right? I swear to God, right? I'll never forget this, right? I was at a funeral one time, right? And I swore, this is not one word of a lie, I got the shivers and all, right? And I don't know whether it was because I read it somewhere.
Yeah.
But like, as I say, I am spiritual. Like, I can actually see things and, you know, all that.
What do you see?
But I actually seen, right, these men, gentlemen, with the top hats and the suits, right?
Yeah.
And six of them coming down the opposite side of the church in Donnycarney. Do you know that place where you were talking about with the old, like, broken church?
Oh,
in
in
and
Raheny,
stuff
yeah.
like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. However, right, down in Killarney, right, my mother, like, that's when her mass, where her funeral mass was anyway, right? And, right, it was like as if there was 6 tall men
Right.
coming to get her. Even though her coffin was there, like,
Oh.
you could actually see her coffin.
Yeah.
But then on the opposite side, it was like the 6 tall men were coming for her body. And you were taking her.
Right.
And I could actually see, like, and my father was like, Sarah Jane, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Which is, like, look at the priest, like, when the priest speaks.
But you were looking at the 6 tall men.
And I was like, Dad, like, do you not see what's going on here? And he goes, Sarah Jane, will you cop on to yourself and some respect in the church?
Yeah.
And I was like, Dad, like, can you not see it?
6
Yeah,
tall men.
going off the head or...
Did nobody
like,
else see the 6?
back on.
Did nobody else see the
No.
6 tall men? Just you?
No, but my father's like yourself now, like, he's atheist, doesn't believe in any of that. Doesn't believe in... We're all, like, you know, so the banshee is like go visit him.
Yeah.
And hopefully, you know. But seriously, right, I'm dead serious, right? The true story is
No, but
that
I want to go back
if
to
it's
the...
floating around the cars, right?
Yeah, I'm going
and
back to the cars.
If you feel a breeze come by your ear when you're driving home tonight,
Yeah.
you have to light a candle, like, you know, All Saints, I don't know. I'm totally a saint, so you can light a candle for me, right? I don't mind that, right? And you're a saint, don't light a candle for it. But then you have All Souls. I think that's the second, isn't it?
Yeah.
2 different days.
Yeah. But okay, I want to just briefly before we go to the break, so just to let people, a word of warning for people, right? That people on All Souls Day, if you're an atheist or a non-believer, they'll sit in the back of your car. So
I'm telling you the story.
I know. I'm just repeating it so people get a better understanding of it, right? So
okay.
So people driving home, listening at the moment, and they could be driving home on a very dark road. Anyway.
Yeah, it will be. Because it is dark now.
Yeah, it is dark. It is dark. It is. Sarah Jane, I'm going to get you on Mastermind, specialised subject, the obvious. Anyway, yeah, because it's 11 o'clock at night, okay? Okay, so if you're driving home at the moment and it's like a dark road and you're a non-believer, all the souls are going to be sitting in the back of your car if you're on your own. And if you feel a breeze going past your ear, well then you know that's them.
The Banshee.
No, it's not the Banshee, it's the souls.
It's the soul of the Banshee blowing in your ear.
The Banshee blowing in your ear.
It's the soul of the Banshee blowing in your ear.
Okay. Sarah, there's something wrong with you. You're unhinged. You do know that, don't you?
You just make sure you have your toll money.
There's people at home shitting themselves now, and you don't have a care in the world for them.
I know, I'm sitting here looking at Breaking Bad. It'll be grand.
Sarah,
good luck to
do the Banshee before you go again. Go on, I love your Banshee.
I don't know what it is. What am I doing? I don't know. Anyway.
Thanks, Sarah. You're a hoot.
No problem.
See you.
Bring your next speaker on. One of the Hugo stories.
There you go. There's Sarah. Oh, God. Oh, that was funny. Yeah. But have you ever felt that, by the way? On a serious note, now you know me, like I am definitely an atheist, a skeptic, all those things, right? But genuinely, I've been driving the car and you look in the mirror because you think there's someone sitting in the seat behind you and you kind of get a bit tricky for a few minutes. Have you ever got that? It's like a chill goes through you. Well, Sarah Jane says it's the Banshee or it's the All Souls. Anyway, or the souls rising from the dead. Anyway, look, thank you very much indeed to everybody sending the ghost stories. I let Molly decide who was the best, by the way. I thought Sarah was a hell, by the way, can I just say.
Now, real people, real opinions. Nighttime Talk with Niall Boylan.
Ireland's Classic Hits Radio.